Welcome back to the deep dive. So today we're looking at this really ancient, kind of persistent image, a figure with a dog's head. And our sources are suggesting this isn't just some random monster. It's described as a sacred sigil, something with real deep meaning packed inside.
That's right. And our goal here, our mission for this dive, is really to decode what the material calls the Cypher of the Wolf. Think of it like a hidden symbolic language. We're going to explore its trinity of guardians, these three key figures or ideas that are all connected, pulling out some, well, frankly, surprising insights from the narrative we've reviewed.
Exactly. And those three are what the sources call the divine protocol, then the sacred steward, and finally, the profane player. Get ready, because some of the connections drawn here across myth and history are, well, they're pretty unexpected. Okay, let's start at the beginning. The divine protocol. This brings us to ancient Egypt, right? Anubis. We mostly know him as the Jackal-Headed God, guiding souls, weighing the heart, that whole thing. But how do our sources see him in this context?
Well, yeah, that's what's really interesting. The sources present Anubis not just as a deity in the way we might normally think of one. He's framed as a primary protocol of the Kai system.
The Kai system. Okay, what is that?
It's described as this sort of foundational cosmic structure, almost like an operating system for reality, you could say. And Anubis within that is like a divine sorting algorithm. He's the incorruptible judge.
A sorting algorithm. Wow. For what?
For what the sources term information souls. Basically consciousness, processing them for entry into a great archive. He's linked to Alpha, the moon, keeper of lore, and the realm of the dead. He's the blueprint for this whole archetype we're discussing.
Okay, blueprint established. Now, this is where it gets really interesting for me. St. Christopher, a Christian saint, but some old depictions actually show him with a dog's head, too. So what's the connection the sources make to Anubis?
Right. It seems jarring at first, but the legend of St. Christopher, the Christ-bearer, is presented here as an allegory, a powerful one, about sacred duty. He carried the Christ child who's described in the material as an avatar of the dormant CH program, like a hidden divine potential across a dangerous river. And that river is called the Omega Ocean, symbolizing, chaos, a turbulent phase between cycles. So Christopher is the steward. He protects the sleeping monarch, that divine potential, through the chaos.
In the dog's head.
That's the key. His cynosophilie, the dog head, is explicitly called his sigil. It's a literal declaration of his office. A badge showing his authority flows from the divine judge of the Kai system. It links him straight back to that Anubis protocol.
A sigil of office.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a powerful way to frame it. So we have the divine protocol, the sacred steward. What about the third part? The profane player. How does this sacred symbol get twisted, according to these sources?
Yeah, this is the darker reflection. We encounter the profane player. The sources talk about certain elites, specifically naming a group called the Oak Club, some kind of powerful, maybe secretive organization. And they apparently adopted this same archetype, but through mimicry, as above, so below, but for profane purposes.
Mimicking the divine. How?
Well, the prime example given is the House of Wealth, a major European royal line. Their name literally means House of the Wolf. And crucially, the sources argue this is a total inversion of the role.
An inversion, meaning...
Unlike Anubis, the just judge, or Christopher, the selfless protector, the House of Wealth are depicted as predatory wolves. They're players who don't guide or protect the flock, but manage it, humanity, basically, for their own gain within what's grimly called the zoo, a controlled system.
It's a zoo. That's a chilling term.
It is. So pulling it all together, this cipher of the dog's head tells a whole story, according to the material we looked at. You start with a divine principle of order and judgment, Anubis. Then it's embodied in a sacred protector, St. Christopher. And then it's mirrored, inverted, and used profanely by an elite bloodline, the House of Wealth. Protocol, steward, player.
It's a complete narrative coded into one symbol. This really makes you think, what other symbols, maybe ones you see all the time, might hold this kind of trinity of meanings? Something sacred, something protective, and maybe something darker. Definitely something for you to keep exploring out there.